sign up for something different, but
Yeah,
sorry to
this is
disappoint you,
not the
Jason.
meeting. These aren't the droids I was looking for.
Well, I think it's going to be very valuable. And once again, as they come and join, we have today's guest, Eric Bell, strategic advisor with currently with the Brokers International Financial Services. He was introduced by one of our Long Beach agents, Lily. Thanks, Lily. She's not on the call. Maybe she'll join. And it's always great to have those connections and relationships with professionals out there that brings value to our group. As I mentioned to you, Eric, this is a group of KW commercial brokers throughout Southern California. And once again, the how many people jump on and off the call varies, but you're gonna get good exposure. And Eric will tell more about himself in a second. He's gonna share a few things. One of them is tax mitigation strategies for commercial and how to get clients liquid without taxes. And I think it's something that, especially right now with COVID and all the trends that we experiencing in the industry, it's something of value. So Eric, the stage is all yours. Give us some background. And once again, thanks for being here. Great to have you.
Well, thanks for having me, Minnie. I appreciate it. I read something the other day that said, and I can't remember where I read it at, it said, but if you want to be, you have to be different to be successful. And I think this is something that's going to make you guys pretty successful in terms of what I'm going to talk about. My background, I started as a stockbroker 37 years ago up in Northern California. Fast forward to here, I moved here 25 years ago for a bunch of big investment jobs. I was the area investment manager for First Interstate Investments, if you remember First Interstate Bank. I had Orange County, San Diego, and Inland Empire. Fast forward from there, I became the principal for State Street Global Advisors for Southern California. So all on the investment side, and then got recruited away by Mellon at the time, became BNY Mellon during my tenure. So on the wealth management side, at BNY Mellon, I was number 2 in the state, number 5 in the country for them. So I did extremely well for them. And then I realized that I want to be back in management. Everybody gets that management hair every now and then. So that's where I met Lily at. I met her at Bank of the West. She was in special assets. I was their national sales manager for their wealth management group. So I had all their 19 states and about 200 something people reporting to me, but 19 direct reports. And that job burned me out. Did it for 4 years. I was traveling too much. My wife wasn't happy. I had all kinds of different issues. Hence, I'm not married anymore. So here I sit today. I had 7,000 people on my phone. I gathered the tax attorneys that I knew, the CPAs I knew, and they all worked for big companies. We all hang our own shingle now. And we just started doing business with each other for real estate, for business owners. We primarily work with business owners and the real estate that they own. So commercial real estate falls right into what we do. What I'm going to talk to you about is a way in my mind, and I've been told this by others, to kind of deepen your relationships with your clients. The M&A guys I work with, the business brokers, the real estate professionals have all told me that this is a way to position yourself in terms of not just being a real estate salesperson or a commercial salesperson, but being more of an advisor. Because what you have in me and my team is a way to help them defer taxes. Let's say defer taxes on a very long-term basis, basically in perpetuity. You may have heard of the, what is it called? Deferred sales trust. That's a kind of fancy thing. You got to put property into a trust. It pays you out over a period of time. You may have heard of the monetized installment sale, which is a 30-year deferral. The deferral I'm talking about is a deferral in perpetuity, meaning that you will never pay taxes. We call it deferral in perpetuity. So what we do is we are using 4 different tax codes. One of my tax attorneys, using 4 different tax codes, will use those in combination with each other. Keep in mind that tax codes have been around since 1913, but he will use these in a different sequence to where it will defer a client's capital gain over and over and over again until he passes away or she passes away. Then he gets a step up the fair market value and it's gone. So if we can be ahead of the game on a sale, it works out extremely well for a client. If they've already sold and the tax year hasn't ended yet, and they haven't paid that taxes, there's a way that we can also help them. But, I don't know if any of you probably have clients who always think their property is worth more than it is. I mean, everybody has a client like that. Their property is worth more than it is. Usually they're trying to gross it up to pay taxes. What I'm talking about is a way, because they won't pay taxes, they don't have to necessarily play that game. Buyer has no idea what they're doing. It can be used the other way around. If you want to incent a seller, you can use it the other way around, introduce them to me, and I will help them out in terms of getting this done. I'm seeing a lot of older guys and their wives. They're getting into their 70s. They've kind of done the commercial real estate thing for 30, 40 years, some of them. It's just getting old to them. They want to get out. They want to get liquid. This is a way to do that. Now, if you want to sell them more real estate, they'll have cash. And as we all know, in the real estate business, cash is king in terms of a negotiation going forward. So I think it's a real good way to possibly take the pressures off of the 1031 exchange, the like kind, the 45 days, identify, all that kind of stuff. A lot of these older people, they're looking, how do I help my kid or grandkid buy a house? And they have this one commercial property. They can't do a 1031 into a house for their grandkid. This is a way to get them liquid and allow them to go ahead and buy the next property under your guidance. Kind of that simple. So the deferral in perpetuity, the way it works, is kind of a process. We're not selling a product. So the way it would work, I would kind of do a discovery meeting with them. Of course, I would know a lot about them from you, just tell me how it would work. And then I would talk to them and tell them exactly we're going to defer it in perpetuity. If the escrow hasn't closed yet, we would get in touch with their tax people. So we'd want to talk to their tax attorney or their CPA or their enrolled agent, whoever they're dealing with that works with them on the tax front. And we will take them through step by step and share all the documents needed to help them become liquid. The cost is 10 cents on the dollar. So to give you an example, if someone has a capital gain of $1 million, to defer that capital gain in perpetuity, it would be $100,000. So full out capital gains in California right now is 37.1. So if the capital gain is $1 million, you're looking at 371,000 versus 100,000. Most people will make that trade anytime to defer something in perpetuity. And this is an alternative to a 1031. What I really like about it, when I say it's not the pressures of the 1031, it's like you haven't put the pressure on them. You're not trying to get another commission because you have the 1031 on your side. They have to find something. You're taking a step back, being that advisor. And I can guarantee you, once they go through our process, they see how smooth it is and how easy it is, they will tell a friend. I think that will endear them to you, and they will tell friends, and you will get referrals simply because of the strategy that you put in front of them. I'm just here to facilitate it for you. A lot of my clients, they've sold businesses. They're trying to look for additional income. So they sold the business, and I got to replace the income. So that's where the investment stuff comes in. If I'm working with you, I know your motivation is to sell another property. I do what I do, step out and let you guys move forward. Kind of that easy. If we caught them after the fact, let's say they sold a property this year, 2021, it's out of escrow. They still got this capital gain. They didn't do a 1031 exchange. They were looking for properties but couldn't find them. We can do what they call a loss allocation fund. They will make an investment into a fund that we use to generate losses. And we can create losses to offset their gain. At the same price, 10 cents on the dollar. So they'll get a K1 at the end of the tax year, or before taxes anyway. We're getting those K1s out right now for last year that will offset the capital gains that they inherited or had during the course of 2020, in this case, 2021. Our preference is to do the deferral in perpetuity, because the deferral in perpetuity looks just like a 1031 exchange by the IRS. Very simple, very clean. It's just being deferred forever. That's all. I've talked a lot. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer?
Good stuff, Eric. Yeah, guys, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions or tap on the chat. Go ahead.
I have a question, Eric. Jason, DuFault here. So on the escrow already closed scenario for the loss allocation fund, that have a I mean, is there a maximum amount that someone, I mean, is there limitations to it?
The limitations on the downside is got to be over $1 million. Anything over $1 million works. In both cases, the deferral and perpetuity over $1 million in capital gain. The fee is paid on the capital gain, not on the sale price. And that's a big contrast to some of the other strategies out there. They want you to pay a fee based on what you're selling a property for versus the actual capital gain. So that saves the client a little bit of money right up front.
And it has to be over $1 million in gain.
Over $1 million in gain. I can sometimes talk to the tax attorney. I mean, if it's 970, I mean, you know,
Right.
we can talk about that. 900,000. Million is his preference. But I mean, simple stuff in my mind, not simple to the client. This is all the documentation right here in terms of how to do it that we would share with the CPA or enrolled agent, take them through the process. It's mainly an education thing for them because a lot of them have not heard of this. But just because they haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That's the deferral. Here's the paperwork for the loss allocation fund. You know, it's all clean stuff. I said it's all tax code. It works. It's been proven. It's been tested. We haven't had any problems. Go ahead, Jason.
So here's a question for you. So I sit down with my client. We're selling a hotel, and we've got well over $1 million in gain. Passive, 75 years old. Guy says, you know, I've got two choices here. I can either go DST for passive income generation, or I can go this route to become liquid. That's really the difference, right? I mean,
Yeah,
in your
you know,
goal.
yeah. If he gets liquid, he needs income. I can fix that for him. That's my background. You know, versus the DST paying you out and having control of those funds.
Right.
And I could probably get him more income than the DST would generate for him. So
you would offer them some other choices beyond that as well.
if you told me that that's what you want to get done. Now, if he's buying more real estate, I shut up because I'm not going to interrupt that, you know. But if he wants income from a property, from a hotel, I can definitely get him income, substantial.
Yeah, because I mean, in that scenario, which is coming up more and more, as a lot of these very high net worth individuals that are sole proprietors, so to speak, they're looking to get out of the game, and the DST has become kind of the ripcord for the lack of 1031 exchange opportunities.
Right. Right.
Is solving the solution for them.
You know, I guess the big thing, Jason, with the DST is they will eventually pay taxes. With what I'm talking about, they will never pay taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big difference. And we won't be doling out their income as the trust says, or as that structure says. They will decide how they want the income and how much they want if I were to do it for them, if they want to be liquid.
Right. So they could have that money to, like you said, buy a house for someone, or you do whatever.
Do whatever they want.
Yeah. Without the tax liability being an issue in their decision-making process.
Yeah. You know, and Jason, like I said earlier, I'm seeing a lot of people at that age, 75, that want to help out kids, grandkids buy their first home, you know, in many cases, but they got a commercial property. They can't 1031 into it. That might be their desire. So there might be some residential business for you there. But any excess money that they have, they want to get an income from, I can definitely generate that for them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Good questions. Who else? Well, Eric is taking a break for a second and just answering any questions you might have.
You know, our big thing is to try to engage them into a process and not a product. Like I said, it's a relationship. You guys have relationships with your clients. You've been working with them for years. I'm an arrow in your quiver. I don't want I'm an enhancement to your relationship. That's what I'm trying to be, an enhancement to your relationship. Bring value to it. You won't use me every day, but there's going to be those situations like you described, Jason, the guy who's 75 wants to get out of the game. We're here for you.
Yeah, because the DST has limitations too. You know, I mean, there's you can't always just roll what you have into it, depending on your debt and all the, nuances of those as well.
Yeah, all those nuances don't matter to us. There's no trust that you got to do. There's none of that kind of stuff. There's no ongoing fees. It's that one-time fee. You're done. Or in the case of the loss allocation fund, that one-time investment.
And Eric, if you don't mind, at one point also to put information on the chat for everyone so they can reach out to you directly. Maybe you type in your email, phone, whatever you choose.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
Sure. While Eric is typing his information, anybody else has any kind of questions? Any question is a good question. If you're not sure, if you want him to repeat something while we have him on the call, it's always to have good to have such a resource.
I got another question. Sorry. So pretty simple. Just reach out to you. Say, listen, I've got a client of mine. I've kind of gone over the details. This is what I've got for him so far, and he's looking. Sounds like it'd be maybe a good option for him to explore, and then let you give his information and have you give him a call and set it up. You don't need me there. Right?
I don't need you there, but if you could be there, that'd be great, because that way you're learning a little bit more about what we're doing too. But yeah, Jason, simply saying, hey, I know you don't want to pay capital gain. You got a hell of a gain here. I got a guy in Orange County that could possibly help you. Do you mind if I connect you with him? That's simple.
Okay.
Give me his phone number, tell me to call him, connect us by email, whatever's going to be easiest for you. And I will take the ball and run it from there and keep you posted on where we're at.
So when it comes to the number of people you've helped do this, how many people you get? I could see a lot of people wanting at least an opportunity to check it out.
Well, we don't advertise it. So I'd say in the last 7 years, I probably have helped between the loss allocation fund and also the deferral in perpetuity, probably about 45, 50. It's several every year. Mm-hmm. I think this year and going forward, we're going to see a lot more people trying to get out of the game. Commercial properties, you see what's going on. Everybody's working from home. Cap rates are there, but things are reducing. I think some people are going to get out of those properties, and also rental properties, all taxable income. Someone who gets out of a real estate property on a tax-free basis or tax-deferred basis, what I'm going to move them into will probably give them a tax-free stream of income. So when taxes go up, they don't have to worry about it. 0% times any tax bracket is going to be 0. They'll be very happy with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. Eric, what else do you want to cover, talk about, or this is pretty much? It's very powerful for sure, and I hope people will reach out and understand more. Guys, feel free to reach out to Eric directly afterwards if you're not sure or what have you. But anything else you want to cover, Eric?
I like I said, we primarily work with business owners, so we do a lot of stuff with businesses and helping them reduce that bottom line taxable gain. If you got to think about the loss allocation fund, if you have a client who's getting big K1s at the end of the year or 1099s at the end of the year, there's ways for us to go ahead and work that down for them also. Taxes is our thing. Like I said earlier, you have to be different to be successful. When I was competing against my old companies, I couldn't just say, here's my stock versus theirs, here's my bond versus theirs, or commodities. You get them from Schwab. The way I do it now is from a tax standpoint. Whether you make 40 grand, 400,000 or 4 million a year, usually taxes is your pain point. So that's the way my practice is focused on that. And then from there, I can pivot, like you said, Jason, if he needs income, now all of a sudden I'm selling what I want to sell, or I'm doing what I want to do. If he's just doing real estate, I've endeared myself to you. Next time you got one, maybe that's going to be the guy who's going to want income or going to want something different. But it's just a service we like to provide, kind of get our name out there. We don't advertise it. It's all done word of mouth, like what we're doing right now, basically. And it keeps us very busy, very, very busy, especially in California. But I do business across the nation, Texas, Louisiana, California, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, New York, Florida, which will all be here shortly, then for the next few days. We do it everywhere.
Great.
And I'm right here in California. I'm not COVID scared. So if a client wants to meet face to face, most people do when they're dealing with big dollars, just let me know. I can drive. My car will make it there and back. So I'm happy to meet somebody face to face. Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah. I mean, Zoom is cool, but face to face is better when you're talking about big money, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they reopened Orange County back in 2020, a month into pandemic. They already reopened the state over there. So
Yeah. Inside dining in Orange County, man. I was inside dining yesterday. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. We miss it. All right, Eric Bell, good to have you. Thanks for the insight, for good info. And once again, if you missed it, Eric put his information on the chat. So please take that information, reach out to him directly if you have any questions. And Eric, we'll connect more and talk about presentation to the residential people as well. Maybe you can enlighten them in what they can do and engage, etc. from opportunities. It applies for everybody.
Yeah, the only challenge with residential people, depending on how big the gain is, they got that $250,000 per spouse exemption. Right. So we got to see how much the gain is really going to be after that. But on some of the coastal properties, it's still going to be significant in many cases. Yeah,
absolutely.
But text me, email me, call me, all of the above. I return everybody's call probably within hours. I check emails on a fairly regular basis. So either way you get hold of me, I will circle back to you for sure. Thanks, Minnie, for having me.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks. And once again, Lily, thank you for the referral, for the quality referral. Eric, we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So that was Eric Bell. Hopefully you got some value from this. It's all about be also diversified with resources and professionals. And Jason, good question. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's a good choice to have. I mean, we're going to have these discussions quite a bit, and to really have that kind of at least a conversation with somebody like that, that's somewhat knowledgeable of what they're doing.
Yeah, especially with the tax codes and when it comes to do everything like legally by the book, you need to have people with knowledge and experience as well, and also people that are comfortable to deal with high net worth and etc. And the good thing about him, what I've after speaking to him and what I've researched, I didn't deal with him, right? But to what I've learned, he doesn't just have that ability. He's also he's a financial advisor as well. He's also a licensed realtor, by the way, right? He doesn't practice, so he doesn't understand various aspects of what it is. So you mentioned DSTs, etc. So he will know how to give you different solutions for maybe more cash flow, different ideas, and whatever it is. So I mean, reach out, get to know him, understand how can you add him to be part of your team, right? And that's what it's all about. Excuse me. What other things you want to talk about? State of the market. You want to share some coming soon needs? Jason, you had back-to-back tons of listings you just put on the market. Omid, David Yashar, and you guys too, nonstop. Talk to us. Someone.
One more inventory.
You got more or no more?
We want more.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have to dig through each and
Well, I've got a church that's going on the market here at the end of the week, and I'll have the OMs and everything done. I'll make sure the group gets it once we hit. If anyone's got anybody for a church in Long Beach, I'm co-listing it with Lee Black, and it looks like it's to be a solid opportunity. We're getting a lot of calls on signs and stuff right now, so we'll see how that goes. I also have 2800 Wabash, which is still for sale, taking a price reduction from 2.2 to 1.9 million. It's a development opportunity for affordable housing, 42 units, maybe a little fewer units with larger square footage. It's got a building on it, but it's been on the market for a while. Check it out. There's a deal to be had there for sure. The ground's clean, and we're looking for someone to take it off my hands. Who wants to do a deal today?
For sure. And thank you, whoever is using the, we have a WhatsApp group, by the way, for the commercial. Not sure if you guys are on it. I'm going to add the link right now, just for any case. I know that there's a few shares already, and people talking as well. I try not to, by the way, I try not to add residential agents. I just put the link on the chat, but over there. If Resi reaching out to me, I usually put him in touch with whoever has that kind of niche, specialize in what have you, or put on the chat or in the e-blast. But take advantage of that chat group and the WhatsApp group. I mean, just kind of interact directly, and we're gonna slowly keep growing it. Some people don't use WhatsApp. I do think it's a better platform than just a text message or even Facebook group, because it's instant. But let us know what works best or better for you guys. Anybody else?
How'd you get on the field, Penich?
Say again?
How'd you get on the field at SoFi?
SoFi, yes.
This I gotta hear.
That's one heck of real estate. So we built relationship with mostly with the Chargers side for, I mean, over 2 years now. We own seats, and we promoted them in our offices throughout the years. If you remember, every office basically, besides Westside, I wasn't in touch with Westside back then, but we brought them to the reps to the offices, did presentations about the future of how it's going to look like. I think back in 18, even if I recall correctly, the future development or whatever. So we just stayed in good relationship with those guys. So I reached out and I asked for a tour, private tour to our leadership team, all of the team leaders, as you saw, get a taste of the stadium, because we had plans to do some kind of events this past year, which didn't of course come to fruition, and also take some people to games and what have you as we go. LC members and leadership teams, etc. So that's pretty much it. We got this kind of nice treat and go and see all the locations. We saw the owners lounge and the different restaurants and lounges, and both sides, Rams and Chargers, and they have this massive outdoor venue as well. And went to the field to take a picture, as you saw. Was a really fun experience. Really, it's the biggest stadium in the U.S., which probably makes it in the world, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it's just an incredible experience. Stephanie, how was your experience? She was there too.
It was amazing. It was absolutely so impressive and exciting. And I love football anyway. So I'm like, okay, I can't wait. And having that in our backyard is just huge. And there's so many different ways to really participate in the stadium, whether you're, going there to watch football or events or anything. And it's just really a community. It's a destination for sure to go and have fun. And it's massive. It's just a massive, massive complex that's done. It's top tier all the way. So it's pretty cool. So thanks for arranging that, Manny.
Yeah. So Eric, we'll see you there at the next game, whenever they're gonna open up again, right? Anything else you guys wanna talk about? Wanna chat? It was a kind of brief, to the point, short meeting today, bringing Eric Bell to add some value. So Anything else before we're gonna let you go? And as a reminder, next meeting, March 9th, I don't have a guest speaker yet for that meeting. So if you have anybody in mind, let me know, someone of value. We do have March 23rd, a guest speaker, Jordan Brooks. He's the analyst for ALN apartment data. He has a really interesting presentation, data, stats about the apartments, throughout the US. So I think that's gonna be worth your time for sure. And again, if you have someone for the next meeting, March 9th, let me know. I have someone TBD, but not.
Manny, can I have a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I have a client that he has a 1031 exchange, and he up to $5 million. Just he wants in Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, Hermosa Beach, and the Hermosa and Manhattan and this area, not Torrance. He wants prefer close to the water. Do you have any idea how can I approach to get this deal? I find few in Beverly Hills. I called the expired, I called the agent, but I'm not successful on this matter. Do you have any idea? Can you send a massive email for me or do something?
You can always email me and I'll share with the group, of course.
Okay.
It's all about access and relationships. What I always recommend,
Yeah.
I always say in any line of business, right? I say percentage of something is better than nothing. So it's all about the scope of the deal. We had an agent, very successful luxury agent in Calabasas 2 years ago. That was in 19. So yeah, 2 years ago, he had one of his closest, closest clients reach out and say, hey, I'm looking for such and such. And he could probably wing it and figure it out and do it. He's been doing this for a long time. He said like, hey, I'm not touching this. Hold on for a second. He put in, reach out to one of our commercials in the office, and they closed the $50 million deal between two deals that he exchanged. And this agent got a nice chunky referral check for not doing anything. I'm not saying this is what you should do. My point is that if you guys are stuck, right, in a level that, okay, I'm stuck somewhere, hire someone to help you out.
Yeah, I'm very open. Me,
Yeah.
I'm not absolutely, I'm okay. That's why comes to my idea to share with you and see what we can do. I'm open to this and I have no problem. I already put his other property in escrow. That's not going to be an issue. The issue is how we find
correct
for him.
So
the bad thing is he just won in Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, and Hermosa. I mean, he's not open. Even I find very nice. One of the agent in the office introduced one beautiful commercial in close to the Grove. He said, no, I don't like this area. I mean, yeah, I said, okay.
I think it comes down to two things. Number one is and guys, feel free to jump in as well. I think first of all is pre-qualifying the individual properly. The fact that he has money doesn't mean anything. It's what he's looking for, right? But if the money sits in exchange, he has a very specific time frame. You need to release the money. This is going to pay capital gains on that, right? So, thanks, Jason. But you really have to talk to someone together with just to pre-qualify him properly to understand if he's a real buyer, right? Once again, doesn't matter how much money the person has, it's the motivation and allocation, etc. So I don't know, it's based on the circumstances. Send me an email, so I'll e-blast to the group. It's all of our commercial brokers, and then look at the chat over here. You get the link to the WhatsApp group. Click on it, join, and type over there, hey guys, I have this client, whatever, do you have anything? And then also what I want you to ask and I'm going to ask for you as well, is who's a good, reliable 1031 exchange person you can talk to, because those guys have access as well. And if you have the right, the individual, they have the assets because they're connected to people who, going to call the 1031, going to say, hey, I have this, I want to release it, I want to sell it, I want to, exchange up or whatever. So that's how it goes, if it makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Anybody else? All right, guys. Well, happy Tuesday. Have a productive rest of the day and the week. And thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to our next session. So stay
Thank you.
busy and healthy, everybody. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Manny.